I think the reason I get away with it is because I don't get mad that easy. And I kind of, I've I've been blessed, I guess, to realize how complex some people are. So I could see someone being, having a racist ideas, and at the same time, actually, maybe this is what. So a big part of Rasta is that I love regardless. Like I will love a person regardless, and it goes as extreme as anyone might think. I must love. And so even if I think this person is extremely wrong and I want there to be consequences, I don't stop loving them. So it allows me to engage on that basis that I'm not standing in front of them arguing with hate. I'm still arguing with love while trying to school them, right? Like while trying to discipline them intellectually and otherwise. But at the same time, the moment they retract, the moment they give back or give up on those ideas, they are my brother and my sister, right? So I kind of, the key, I see some political organizations do this, but I do fundamentally believe in their humanity as well, right? And what I want from them is to be in that, John Wood would mention like the beloved community that MLK would talk about. I want them in that. I don't want to see them disappear as people. I want to see them change as people.
Yeah. I want the exact same thing. And it's, one thing that I've learned being a teacher for the last 16 years, teaching people mathematics is you're not going to change someone who doesn't want to change. And I'm sure many other people who are parents like yourself or, people who've had friends or relationships with people, like everyone experiences this, like where, there's a recognition that a change needs to occur. But that person is the individual who needs to change is not engaging what they need to in order to change. And nothing that you say or do is making a difference. The same choice is being continuously made over and over and over. And I see that pattern here in the race context as well.
But as I said, that's true in a sense, right? Like if you go into it thinking I'm going to change this person's mind, it will break you, right? Because I've been in those places where you hit them with a fact and then sorry, there's noise outside. You hit them with a fact and then you come back to them another time and they raise the same thing that you just disproved to them. And I don't mean like disprove with a debate point, disprove like factually they are incorrect and they will come back. So if you recognize that, you know what, in a sense, I'll be honest, some of them are propagandists. They're not there to reach truth. They have no loyalty to truth. It is about bringing as many people on board to reach the policy prescriptions that they desire. And so once you go into it knowing what you're dealing with and realizing they aren't actually the audience, you're not spending your time for their sake. You're spending your time for the sake of others. And I think that's rewarding. One of the nice things about Twitter is that it's public, right? So like when these conversations, I might have just wasted, or it comes across as I've wasted 10 minutes arguing with somebody who we both know will not change. But at the same time, there is, 10 people who watch that conversation and said, you know what, I see a good point. And I've been lucky. One thing I've appreciated, strangely, is I've gotten DMs, which I respect. That people don't put it publicly, but it's people like, hey, I'm going to admit, like, I used to think such and such an idea was okay. But, I've read some of the stuff you posted or like watched some of the conversations. And it really made me think. And sometimes the funny thing is the way it makes them think is I saw you ask about a certain idea and the person expressed it. And when they expressed it, it made me think, I felt repulsed by what they expressed. And they're saying like, that made me go back and think about other things that I agreed with them on. And suddenly I started seeing how certain things weren't okay morally. And I think it's a weird kind of play where getting empirical license, seeing that, wait, they don't have the facts. These aren't simply, inconvenient facts that these races have. Maybe they're weak on the facts too. suddenly you start following that trail. It's like, okay, if they're weak on the facts, then why am I morally letting them say XYZ? And so I've gotten those DMs, and honestly, those have made me feel, as a former teacher, getting things like that of someone saying like, "Hey, what the steps you took helped move me in a better direction." Honestly, that makes it very much worth it, right? Like I've gotten quite a few of them, but even if I had just gotten one, to see that one person, because that person's not going to be better for the next 40 years of their life, hopefully, right? And I don't know. I think me spending 10 minutes in a conversation or many conversations makes that worth it, to make that one person a better person for themselves and for the rest of us.
I completely agree with that. For me, that kind of moment where someone goes from ignorance into knowing, from not knowing to knowing, and recognizes that in themselves and that they've grown. There's nothing better than that. And so a written expression of that is just amazing. So I agree, man. You're doing the good work out there.